Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show, the Armchair QB Show. I'm your host, Bill Reed. We are back once again. I am back, and with me is the co-host, Mike Devine. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am your co-host. I kind of like being the co-host a little bit.
Well, normally you're the host of Gray Matters Radio.
Yeah, I like being the co-host though. I kind of like it's nice. I mean, I don't have to drive the show at all, and I can just sit back. I can drink my beer.
You got
wear
the
some
sunglasses. You got the sunglasses on now. You're in Hollywood. Is this because of the big news over on Gray Matters Radio? Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Oh yeah. So our little show that just got accepted in iHeartRadio. So yeah, it's a big deal, man.
You can find that coming out soon.
I know, man. So next we gotta get Armchair QB on.
That's until iHeartRadio gets hip and listens to the show and throws everyone off the air. Well, we can't back this.
We approved it, but yeah, I don't know about that. So I think I think you have to have like minimum of like 10 shows. So once we get the lucky number 10, I think we'll
this is like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think this
feels like a lot more than that. I gotta tell you.
We're gonna slowly but surely take over the airwaves. It
feels like we've been on for eons.
It has. We've been doing it for a little bit now, man.
Well, we've been friends for almost 35 years. So.
Yeah.
And you know what the best part is? We just talk bullshit like this. So it feels like eons. It doesn't. The only difference now is we're just recording. There's really no difference.
Well, do you think if we would somehow go back in time, and be like let's say it was like 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, hey, like that, hey, when you guys are like old, like, not only will you guys still be friends and living like, 10 minutes away from each other.
You're both still alive.
You're still alive, and you have kids.
And you're not in jail.
You're not in jail, and you guys are going to be doing a radio podcast with each other. Would we have believed each other?
The first thing I would say, what the hell's a podcast?
That would be first question number one.
So, fancy talk. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. It's weird as we get older, how much you think about things from the past, but you look at it through like a different light, whether it be a funny story or whatever. And yeah, it is kind of rare, when people have been friends that long. And not only friends, we still like each other. We still hang out where we get our families together. I mean, hell, we would have our families together more if it wasn't for our kids being 5 and getting sick every other weekend. It is
double ear infection.
I know. Where are the chances,
right?
Bitch. I mean, It was like double news. It was like Eleanor, cold, and then Brode got, it's like, but,
explosive diarrhea.
I don't know if we truly maybe, I don't know if internalize, if I'm being clinical, but like kind of realize like how cool that is and how lucky we are that to be friends that long and to be doing what we're doing. That's just cool. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Probably because I'm about to turn 40 in a couple of months. Maybe
we all are. It's all kind of timed out. That's strange that we grew up, lived across the street from each other. We were like 2 months apart in age.
Yeah.
Just
and even like to move halfway across the country, still maintain friendship, and then move back, and it's like this is what we talked about when we got older. Yeah, we'll be hanging out, and it's like no, legitimately like.
I know, my man.
It's cool, man. I dig that.
Here we are.
I know, getting to talk about
this, and the thing is, we still talk about some of the same things that we talked about 25 years ago.
We just share it with more people now.
I mean, we're still talking about Rocky.
I know.
I think every show we've had at least a Rocky reference. Mention or reference.
I think there's either some like Seinfeld quote,
a
Rocky quote, something. But that's the show's about.
But again, when we all hang out, that's what we talk about.
Yeah, it is ironic. Yeah, I want it to be a challenge one night. Could we ever hang out and not throw some type of movie, TV show quote down?
My wife says to me, she says, "You watch the same 5 movies over and over again," and I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "It's always Rocky, Rambo, Predator, she knows." I'm like, well, those aren't the same ones. There's like 6 sequels,
They're separate movies.
There's like 3 spinoffs, and
So
she's like, it's all the same.
So really, I watch the same 37 movies over and over.
That's what I try to say. I go, but she can sit there and she can watch The Blind Side over and over and over. And I'm like, but it's actually a good movie. But I'm like, but that's legitimately the same movie. There's not, 5 sequels to it. I was just you just watch the same
I
thing.
was not a big fan of that movie.
It wasn't a bad movie.
It seemed like it was just like it was one of those movies that screams like this is their adaptation of it. But then if you were to go and talk to Michael Orr and he goes, "Oh, that shit didn't happen."
Oh yeah, he did
He
say
actually
that.
admitted he hates the movie.
Well,
he said it made him look like
he didn't know how to play football.
that, and he was like mentally challenged. Like there's something wrong
He
with
was
him.
like, no, I was actually pretty good at football my entire life. They didn't have to teach me, but it's Hollywood, you know.
It is
What-
Hollywood.
What's he say? What's he say in oh God, what's that movie called? I can't think of it. The Tropic Thunder. He goes, it's Hollywood. Everyone's gay once in a while. He's like, what?
No, that's a good movie.
I know. I love that movie. That's a fantastic movie.
Oh man.
Oh,
So what we got tonight, man?
Well, speaking of Rocky,
Yeah, there we go.
You had to bring it up. You know, we had a poll on
Yeah.
on our Facebook page there for the Armchair QB this week, and it was. I said, well, what are we going to do this week? And I said, I know. We're going to do who would win in a fight, you know, among the Rocky fans in a Rocky universe, so to
Battle
speak.
Royal.
Well, one-on-one.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not talking about the real-life people. I'm not talking about if someone had weapons. I'm talking about in the Rocky-verse universe if they got in the ring.
I guess Mr. T, is his prostate acting up that night? Is he not acting
No,
up? 'Cause
no.
He's kind of old now.
It's
you
not
know.
Mr. T, so we took Clubber Lang,
Clever Lang.
from his prime,
Yeah.
1982, Rocky 3. And I said, well, you know, what's a good opponent? First one that came to mind was Ivan Drago.
Okay.
Love me some Drago.
Yeah.
Right?
Drago is one of the baddest
What do you hit with
baddest dudes of all time.
16 or was it 1,800 pounds per square inch?
1,500 pounds per square inch. And whenever he hits, he destroys.
Damn it, so good. So I couldn't do a Clubber Lang against Drago, and I love me some Clubber
Yeah.
Lang because I thought, dude, Drago would win hands down. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's on the program. You can't beat Drago. Clubber
Yeah.
Lang can't. So I went with Tommy, the Machine Gun. I thought him and Clubber Lang would be a heck of a matchup, so to speak. Again, this is among Rocky fans, so if you're a Rocky fan, you feel me here.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm quite as big of a dork, you know. Anyone that's not a Rocky fan going, what are they talking about right now? So I thought Tommy Gunn versus Clubber Lang would be a heck of a matchup, you know, on the big screen, so to speak. I thought they're very evenly matched up, size, strength, all that stuff, so I put it out to the poll. Put it out to the poll on our Facebook page. And I got to tell you right now, I am a little surprised.
So what did it say? What do we got?
Well,
What are people saying?
as of right now, they got Clubber Lang is, according to you, the viewer, at like 92%. Or no, I'm sorry, let's take that back. 88%. 88-12. Clubber over Tommy Gunn. Now, I'm not surprised that Clubber Lang is winning this poll. I'm surprised at the blowout numbers. 88-12? Wow.
I want to know who the 12% that thought Tommy Gunn would beat Clubber Lang.
I gotta tell you, man. You know, I was honestly on the fence. I did vote for Clubber. I always vote in all my own polls. You know, it's my poll.
Yeah.
So, but one of the reasons why I didn't do Clubber against Drago because I thought Drago would win legitimately 90-10 because of what I said.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna maybe reevaluate.
Please.
Is this Tommy Gunn with Balboa in his corner?
You know,
Or
You know,
is it or Balboa? Because he was a different fighter when Balboa was not in his corner. Now he did beat Union Kane, but apparently the Duke said Union Kane was sick, and maybe there's an angle to it.
I believe what was said was that Union Kane had more glass in his jaw than a chandelier. Now, when I made this poll,
he won the vacated belt, right?
That's right.
Right.
He didn't beat Balboa.
Yeah.
It was a manufactured title.
Yeah, paper champ.
That's right.
Paper champ.
Now, when I made this poll, and I can't believe you just said that, Mike. I mean, I can believe it, but I actually said, should I put in here, he is not with Balboa as his manager, or he is? And I go, no, that's not going to come up. And sure enough, you right away, right out of the gate.
If you are as knee deep in the Rocky verse as we are,
I know
that is a totally legit question because
I love how you thought that too.
Because now
I
would say with Balboa in his corner, I think he beats Clubber Lang because he knows Clubber Lang's weakness.
Now, what if Paulie's there? Because I kind of feel like Paulie detracts from anyone whose corner he's in. I like me Paulie.
Paulie was there for every victory. So
what about if Paulie's robot? Happy birthday, Paulie.
Did you hear the story about the plot line that was not included in Rocky IV about why the robot was there?
He was sent back in time to kill Rocky?
No, that's a good one, though. So Rocky, I believe, I don't know if it was one of his children or it was because it was autistic. and he had a whole storyline about his son being autistic,
Mhm.
and the robot was there to help teach him like social skills and whatever. But then it was just like I think at the end, the final cut, it just didn't really mesh, and they cut it out, and he was upset about it. But that was the whole reason why that robot was there.
Was that for real?
Yeah, for
Or
real.
was
He
that,
said in an interview. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it was one of those things like, oh, I got to tell Bill this, and I totally forgot.
Well, that's pretty cool because it's not every day you can learn something new about an old school Rocky
Yeah.
movie that you probably don't already know. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read that. It was like last year, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I
yeah.
never knew that.
I know.
So.
If you look it up, just Google it. It's like Rocky 4,
Rocky
Autism and Robot.
Did
I
you-
guarantee it'll pop up.
Did you know on the internet you can actually buy the action figure of the Rocky robot?
Are you serious?
Just like you can buy the action figure.
I think I'd
of
actually
all-
buy that. Is
well-
it like working? Does it have like Happy
No.
Birthday,
It's
Polly?
just like a small, action figure. But sure enough, that's it. But oh gosh, it's like from like Mattel or Hasbro or whoever was making at that time. From how many years ago? That thing's gonna go online for probably a couple $100.
You know what? Since we're talking about like maybe unexplored or maybe unsaid things about Rocky 4 that always has not bothered me, but I've wondered.
Mhm.
So, all right, so you know how at the end of Rocky 3, the whole bet was Apollo will train him, but he gets a rematch, right?
Yeah.
So now, number one, you don't really know who won.
Well, he mentions that in the new
He
one.
mentioned it, all right?
Or
now,
was he just trying to be nice?
exactly.
I thought
now,
the same thing.
But
Damn it.
here's the other thing though. I think who refereed it? Because without a referee, could it have been a fair fight?
Well, you call it. It's like one-on-one basketball. You just call your own fouls.
I guess. I don't know. I've always been curious about because I know he said Apollo won, but I've been curious if he really did. But then too, it's kind of like if you're policing yourself.
Well,
I mean,
if you get knocked out, obviously that's. But if
Who's
it
counting?
goes 12 or 15 rounds,
yeah.
I think most fighters, when you go to the decision, most fighters kind of know.
But was there?
if they
But
won or
was there?
not.
Were there rounds? Did they just fight? Was like Iron Man until someone's down? I mean, what if it was like a standing 8 count? Like, what were the rules here?
Who are these people?
Who are these people?
You want these? You want answers, don't you?
I want answers. I'm not going to get it, but it's probably totally pointless. But I'm just saying.
Oh,
I know.
so there's just some things we will just never,
I guess,
ever
man.
know.
It's
If anybody has any ideas, I would love to hear this. So please hit us up on Facebook
maybe
or Twitter.
maybe Sly will let us know. Maybe that it was
You
an
know,
unwritten thing. I mean, I don't know.
I'd love to hear your thoughts out there. So write us, tell us, let us know. Leave us
It's
a
just-
message.
I think this I think it's why Rocky was just I don't know. I think maybe it was growing up and the place that it served. It was just I don't know, man. It didn't even matter if it didn't really even mirror boxing at all, But it was just a good movie. But I don't know. Nowadays with boxing, with all the drama and UFC, it seems like
Well, look at war movies.
Yeah.
They don't really reflect. I mean, they don't reflect how war really is. Instead, it's everyone's blowing everything up, and some of that happens, but.
But now the thing is, so this probably gets segue into our next topic. Now you and I were talking that one of the big things you want to talk about was UFC and one of the recent fights this weekend. And so, all right, so what?
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about Creed 3,
Oh, okay.
which has to do with McGregor. I heard they turned down McGregor, or Michael B. Jordan is not interested in having Conor McGregor in it, which I don't really know how he'd fit in anyway. I mean, McGregor's like 154 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
he wouldn't, unless they're going to do
Bulk
something
him
with
up or something.
Well,
yeah.
not even that, but they'd have to do something with a whole new division, or maybe one of Adonis Creed's training mates fights him or something, and Adonis is in his corner.
Although Adonis is awful lightweight for a heavyweight.
Well, I
He's
thought
at best is a light heavyweight for being honest.
if you look at the size difference between Creed 1 and Creed 2, though,
He was jacked.
I
in
didn't
that second
realize
one.
it until they pointed out, and I went back and really looked at it because Creed 1 was on TV, obviously leading up to Creed 2's release. I mean, I saw Creed 2 right afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, I can't.
Dude, he was
see
like,
that.
have you seen Black Panther?
I haven't seen that
Dude,
yet.
he
I'm
is
the only
jacked in.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to fight him. He looks heavy. I mean, I don't know if he was quite heavyweight in Creed 2. He was definitely in Black Panther. That dude was a heavyweight fighter size.
Oh my God, he was. So
I don't know. I mean, I've been hearing that he is definitely very open to having a storyline with Clubber Lang's kid.
now, don't you think they're jumping the shark there? They just did Drago's kid, and it's not that I wouldn't want to see Clubber's kid, but if they hadn't already done Drago's kid, I feel like
It's kind of like the catch-22 from a
it's the same
nostalgia
plot all over.
perspective. Yeah, it's like,
It's-
but I think depending on what they want Creed to be, if they were simply using the first two as a way of like delegating it and setting it up, then you go in a completely different angle. If you're mirroring it and being lazy, I think, yeah, you do go Clubber Lang.
I got to tell you who would be the loser in all this if there was a Clubber Lang Jr. It'd be Robert Balboa, Rocky's son. It's like, you mean to tell me Apollo's son came out? He's a heavyweight boxer. Drago's son, Clubber's son. You get to Robert Balboa, he goes, I'm a wimp. Man, I got to tell you, it makes Rocky's son.
That was kind of a bunk storyline, I thought.
But I'm just saying, though, if you have all these other boxer sons, and his son was just like, nah, I'm cool.
You stole my dad away from me, like some daddy issues. That would be kind of...
It kind of makes him look like a little bitch.
It does.
Sorry, no offense. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like they already did that with Drago. If they hadn't done it, I'd be all for it. I heard Deontay Wilder might be in it. I would like to see him in it. Just maybe not as... I'd love to see Clubber in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how. The son thing, you know what? Have Clubber just train him. Not be his son, but just be a trainer.
It has to be tough, though, to create a storyline that's totally unique.
Well, that's why Clubber could be his trainer from the south side of Chicago. It's like he was. I'd be cool with that. It didn't have to be his son. He could still hate Balboa. He could still have all that rage, I guess.
That would actually work a little bit, where it's just like he was trained.
Another son, one movie. I don't know. It just seems like it'd be like going to see an action movie and they kidnap his daughter and he's got to go and get revenge. Well, and in the sequel, the new terrorist kidnaps the other daughter, and you're like, wait, what?
It makes. I mean, the Drago one made sense because one, it was just one of the greatest fights he had, but two, the whole. He destroyed the marriage. He's a man without a country now.
You can't win.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Drago one. I thought when Adrian's telling the Rocky.
Yeah, but no, it's like the whole idea of like, in the Creed, that's why he wanted to fight him because like he destroyed my dad's life. His life fell apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's where you got to look at is what do they want the movie to be?
Yeah.
I do think though if they're going to create a new storyline, this is where they have to do it.
Well, apparently Conor McGregor is not going to be in it. He's not going to be able to ruin anyone's lives. Someone's life he may have ruined is female MMA fighter Rose Namajunas.
Sorry, what was this? So
and I know I butchered that name.
So she was on the bus, I guess.
Well, she fought this weekend.
Yeah.
And she lost, and she's a badass. I mean, she's one of the baddest women on the planet. And she lost. And she's hinting at retirement now. She hadn't fought in a long time. And one of the things going around that I think maybe even she said was that she was still traumatized from the Conor McGregor bus incident, that when he threw that dolly through the window. She was still traumatized, and her head wasn't right. And as a result, some people were speculating maybe that's why she lost this fight. And blah, 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 blah. Now, keep in mind, Conor McGregor, who threw that dolly through that bus window on a bus full of fighters, he wasn't aiming for her. It was for, Khabib, his other opponent, who he wasn't getting along with, obviously. I think it was for publicity as well. Nothing hit her. She didn't get injured. The glass didn't break on her. I think she was on another side of the bus.
Now, has she been in a fight since then?
I don't believe so. Because, this thing happened back in, this has been over a year ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's like she hasn't fought in a year.
And I don't think so. And Conor McGregor, he got in big trouble for that. He got arrested. It was like a whole thing. But to be traumatized.
Didn't one of the fighters have to get surgery?
Yeah, I mean, it was a real bad situation because that glass broke and it fucked up one of the fighters. And it wasn't even the fighter he was aiming for on top of it. It was just, But anyway, my point is, you as a psychologist, what is your opinion? Do you really think... I'm not saying that she can't be traumatized. Obviously, you can. But she didn't get injured in that attack. She didn't know glass... she'll tell you nothing happened to her physically.
Yeah, I mean,
she's a cage fighter. How can that traumatize her?
All right, I'll answer from a technical... All right,
because we don't know her history.
Yeah. So, yes. It is... Yeah, it's 100% possible that...
But what could happen? What could have happened? Just speculate for a minute.
I think you got to look at, if you really look at PTSD, it's an adaptive reaction to something traumatic that happens in the environment, and your brain starts changing and adapting and how it remembers and recalls it to protect you from it happening again. And so even though she's a fighter, even though she obviously is a tough person, Yeah, it is 100% possible that if something like that happens where she legitimately felt and fear, it could have triggered some childhood trauma where there's some similar things. And from a performance perspective, yeah, if that gets into your head where all of a sudden maybe you start doubting yourself, you start doubting things that are going on,
That's just
just
so random, though. I mean,
emotionally,
come on. Like, as an armchair QB, pun intended, I'm going bullshit. Like, you got to be kidding me. That had nothing to do with what happened. Like, if she had gotten injured, maybe I could like see that plausible. It's been over a year. She didn't get injured. Like, she was a bystander.
Yeah, but here's another good example. I mean, like, so I remember I was driving home. This is when I lived in Texas, and buddy and I, Justin, my one of my groomsmen at the wedding, we were driving back from Dallas, and I remember like, I saw a car driving, and I don't know if it was like a Sixth Sense or whatever. I just had a weird feeling about it, and it started swerving, and it fucking launched up and over a median. It was
Wow.
coming at us head on. And and I was like trying to debate what to do. I go, well, I'm thinking about going left because I was in the left lane, but I was like, well, I'm afraid this dude is just gonna freak out because it was a median now, it was a wall. I'm afraid he's gonna then try to veer to go back over and hit the wall and hit us. And I go, what if I go right though? What if he then goes right? So either way, I'm like, I got like 3 seconds to make a decision and not getting a head-on collision at 60 miles an hour. And I decided to go left. And the driver just kept going straight. It went diagonal through all the lanes of traffic, went up and over another median onto the service road. Now, to this day, every time I see cars driving at night around a bend where there's a median divide, I'm not gonna lie, dude, my foot gets off the gas. I start like I've had close calls with like someone running a red light and almost hitting me, and I always stop now. And we mentioned hearing about kids,
Right.
So.
Well,
I didn't get hurt. I still think about it.
I'm not saying that stuff can't happen, but what I'm saying is, would it stop you a year after that happening as a cage fighter? I'm not talking, you're not a butterfly catcher here.
Yeah.
All right? Literally, you go to war with someone across that cage that is looking to put you in a hurt locker. Right? You're in the fight business. This is what you do. And that's what kills me
So
about
it's kind of like, all right, does it sound plausible given their profession, what they do? All right. I mean, it definitely, the personal side of me sitting there going, come on, that's an excuse. Professional side of me goes, when you ask, is it possible? Yeah. Is it plausible?
It just makes me think, you know what? If that's too much for you to handle, you probably shouldn't be in there in the first place. That's my opinion.
And that's where you'd have to look at all the different context of, we know their background.
That just sounds bizarre to me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It does sound a little like...
You're the psychologist. I just wanted your opinion.
Is it plausible? Yes. Do we know anything about our background? No. Could it have... my guess would be maybe it triggered something from childhood that maybe has been locked away for a while. Then all of a sudden, now that it's been triggered, just... something has changed. That is possible.
It's just the whole thing sounds ridiculous.
I know.
Would you agree that one though?
It does. You know what? All
right. Well, I mean, hey, she's tougher than I am, but it just, I don't know.
It's one of those tough things where, depending on what way the wind is blowing, you can see one over the other, but you have to know the context of, is she asking for money? Who knows, man? I mean, it's...
You know who else had a traumatic life experience?
Bob Hope?
Scorpion.
Scorpion, like, the...
From Mortal Kombat.
Scorpion?
He was killed by Sub-Zero, right? He came back, and that's why he's in the tournament.
Is that why they're the same outfit? One's blue, one's yellow?
Well, I think that's why they're similar. And because Scorpion technically is like a ghost or a spirit or a demon. Yeah. He's not actually human. I mention this because Mortal Kombat 11, the video game,
I love that game,
is out. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Do you still remember the blood code? Remember when they took away blood on Genesis?
They didn't have it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what the code was.
I used to know it by heart, and I couldn't tell you what it is now.
Of all the special like finishing moves, what was your favorite?
God, believe it or not, as good as I was at that game, I didn't know a lot of finishers because I didn't spend a lot of time.
Finish him.
Yeah, I had all the code like out of the magazine, so I could I have to look real quick. Or finish him, you have to look and be like, okay, left, down, A, B, B, A, up, right, and be like, babality. Wait, what? Turn him into a baby.
Always like when it was like the ones where it was like 3/4 touch of like
Yeah.
how do you have a 3/4 touch of the C button? That's when video
And it
game.
never worked.
Let's get honest. Like when like clients are all the time asking me, "Hey man, what games do you play?" I go, "Listen, like I keep it simple."
Listen.
I go. Reason why is that you gotta look at when I started video games. It was joystick, one button,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was like, joystick, crosshairs, and then 2 buttons. Then it was 3 buttons,
Yeah.
and then it was like multi-directional controls,
Now it's
trigger buttons,
like
17
17
and then it's like
buttons.
angles.
Oh.
It's like I go. The game's
That's a
got
lot
too
of
hard.
freaking buttons. I
They got
agree.
way too many games. When you have like angles of the controller that will do something different, it's like
Now,
you know what?
You can obviously get the hang of it, but it's just you're right. It's.
I don't know if I can, man.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite all-time game? And number 2, what do you think that you were the best at? If you had to
Ooh.
choose one,
Man, that's such a good
and they might be
question.
the same one.
It's gosh, you almost got like what error?
Well,
you know?
well, I mean,
All right, so I am gonna have to go. Oof. All right, so
GoldenEye.
I
was pretty damn good at
because
GoldenEye.
I keep going like
for the N64.
because I'm looking at like Madden,
Wow.
NHL hockey.
See, all those games.
yeah,
All those games come out every year.
Paperboy.
Paperboy. I love Paperboy.
I love Paperboy.
How about Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Mike Tyson's Punch
Do you
Out.
still remember-
Was it Friday Night Fights?
Do you still remember the code to Tyson's Punch Out to get to Mike Tyson?
I don't.
I do. 007-373-5963. I will be an old ass man. I won't know my name.
I never beat Tyson.
I won't. What?
I never beat him.
I won't know my name. I won't know my
You'll know
kids'
that.
names, but I will have that 007-373-5963 tattooed in my memory bank because I played that game growing up that many times. Yes, I beat Tyson. I only beat him on TKO.
Did you like the arcade version of it?
Dude, hell no. That
Wasn't
hard
a real.
as shit.
It was his Punch Out. Wasn't Mike Tyson?
It was hard as
Yeah,
shit.
the little green mesh, like and a
Oh.
little spring button in the center.
Dude, it was one of those games where you couldn't play it. It was so hard. You would like throw a punch and it wouldn't throw a punch, or it was just. Oh, I remember even as a kid being so frustrated by that game.
I will say, like, I would almost. All right, I'm gonna say NHL hockey. NHL PA 93 is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, I would play that
NBA Jam.
game.
Loved it.
NBA Jam, damn, dude.
When that first came out,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was remember at AMC theaters we'd play that for like hours.
you hit the uppercut on Mortal Kombat, and the guy would just go toasty.
Toasty, finish him. I think of Mortal Kombat. My favorite move though was that Johnny Cage would rip the heart out.
What? I think was that
Like,
Kano?
Or then what was it? Scorpion would pull their skull out with the spinal cord attached still.
Was that him or Sub-Zero? God, I can't remember now.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
know all that. And Liu Kang, every time he'd throw a kick,
What was it? Was it Street Fighter? Yolok Flame.
Yeah. Oh, you kidding?
Right, you kick.
Bill Murphy used to. He still
Right,
says
you kick.
to this day. Murphy still says that.
Uh,
Still says it.
God, you know what? You know what's funny? Like, it was interesting. Parents are always asking me about like, oh, are they playing too many games? And that seems like all they do is hang out now and play games. And I go, listen, me and my friends play games a lot. We also played outside a lot. It's 50-50. I remember being a kid, and I go, my best friend lived across the street from me. I remember we'd have these like fantasy discussions of like, oh man, if we got like 200 yards of coax cable, we got a splitter, and then we split the cord where where one person had the TV feed, and yet we had a very long controller cable, and I go, we could play it remotely. and literally, I go, and I was like, listen, like growing up, we did not have that. We'd have to sit down in person with each other. I go, but I am willing to bet $1 million if we had that way of playing, we probably would have been playing a hell of a lot more. So,
remember the movie Cable Guy when Jim Carrey explained to Matthew Rogers' character, he's like, one day you'll be able to play with your best friend in Vietnam.
And that's like I'm still bugged out by this question. My favorite game, what I'm best at.
Well, I mean,
Because like Mario Kart, Bond. I mean, Legend of Zelda.
Oh, Mario Kart.
What about like Legend of Zelda?
What about?
I mean,
look at
Super
recently.
Mario. Remember Super Mario Brothers 3?
Wii bowling.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love me some Wii bowling.
No.
Big Buck Hunter.
I know. Oh,
Very
Duck
underrated.
Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. What was all right? Here's one. What was the crappiest video game you've ever played?
The crappiest.
Crap. I'm talking just so
Oh.
ill-conceived. Just awful video game. I know, according to like the biggest votes, it was E.T. the extras for Atari.
I've never
that
played
game
that.
had no point.
I don't think
you
I ever
couldn't
played
beat it. I mean, it was bad.
I think they talked about that in the Goldbergs.
Ghostbusters, the video game for Atari, what they said was like no point. You couldn't beat it.
Never played that one either.
Yeah.
I didn't have an Atari. I never had an Atari. So
I had Coleco, the knockoff.
Coleco.
Yeah, we had Coleco at my house.
Yeah.
We played that one.
So much fun. I mean,
Gyroscope.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think the problem is it's not too much video games for these kids. I don't think they're playing enough. And I think all these kids should be required to play more video games because hell, it keeps them off the street and away from my house. That's right. No, stay inside. Crazy people.
That's the first old man things you've ever said, Bill.
Oh, my wife says to me all the time. She's like, "Here comes old man Reed telling the kids to stay off his lawn."
It's better than my wife saying I sound like Jerry Seinfeld when I get upset. What are you talking about? Oh, Jerry's coming out. I'm like, shut up!
Oh, Mike. All right. So speaking of old school stuff, have you been seeing any of this Cobra Kai show?
All right.
Karate Kid
you
fans,
and Fro keep telling me to watch it.
It is that good. It is as good as advertised. I highly recommend it. If you even remotely like the Karate Kid, it is a
I love Karate Kid.
It reminds me of Drago's story. It's Johnny Lawrence 25, 30 years later,
Nice.
down on his luck, living in like a one-bedroom apartment, wake up in the morning, finishing off a Coors original.
Where's Mike Barnes at? Is Mike Barnes there? You know?
I said that last night.
Yeah.
Watching, and Jackie goes, "Who?"
You're old.
I go, "Where's Mike Barnes at?" She goes, "Who's Mike Barnes?" I go, "Karate's bad boy." I go, "That's the only one that's missing here." She's like, "What?" I go, "What about Terry Silver?"
Oh, that's what I was trying to think. Who's the millionaire?
Yeah,
Is he bankrupt? They still have money.
I don't know. They
He's
have
probably president.
Man, go see it. It's season 2 just started. Love it. It's even better.
This is actually a funny story, and I know we gotta start wrapping things up
Yeah.
here. But I remember I was in Boston with some friends. It was like New Year's, and Karate Kid was on TV, but it was on Telemundo. So we watched the entire Karate Kid.
Because you're not
in
going
Spanish.
to watch
Dude,
it in Telemundo.
It is a different movie in Spanish. And what's crazy is that Daniel loses in the end. He loses in the Mexican version. I know.
Did you bet on him? You didn't know this.
I don't know, man.
Well, you know what's weird about this, too, is when they start Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
Johnny Lawrence, he's the good guy.
Oh.
Because they show it from both points of view. And now Daniel's son is never the bad guy, per se. But he's, almost
He's
like...
a victim.
Well, he's almost oblivious. He's very successful. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Where Johnny, he kind of makes some valid points. He's like, "You know what? You stole my girl, right? You then beat me at the All Valley tournament, right? You humiliated me."
Yeah.
And he's like, boom, boom. I mean, and all of a sudden you're going, dude,
Fuck Daniel.
Johnny's, you know what Johnny Lawrence is like? He is almost like Kenny Powers. That's what he reminds me of. Down on his luck once upon a time. But he's still a badass. Like some street kids are like, "Whatever, punk, what are you going to do?" And he's like, "Boo, boo, boo, boo." And you're like, he still got it, dude. Like it's nothing. Yeah, Johnny Lawrence. Anyway, I love it. Absolutely You need to go see it, Mike.
All right. I will watch it.
It's on YouTube TV. We recently converted.
But don't I gotta watch the other one though? Isn't there? Is Cobra Kai the one? Isn't there?
That's the name of the series.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one on Netflix that was supposed to.
No, this is on YouTube. It's just exclusively on YouTube.
Oh,
TV.
I thought there was one that was like about Daniel's son, but maybe I was.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right. There's only one.
They do talk about Mr. Miyagi, and they've acknowledged he's passed away. So, but it's very entertaining.
Pat Morita.
Yeah, absolutely.
Folks. Man.
On that one, man.
Yeah.
We're just gonna wrap it up here.
I guess we should, man.
We can go all night, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we don't have all night. We could, but our wives would probably leave us.
Be sure to join us back here next week. We're going to talk about the NBA Draft Lottery.
Yeah.
We're going to see who wins the Zion Williams sweepstakes.
Ooh.
I think that's going to be the Knicks. That's my prediction.
Oh, we'll find out
next week.
We will.
For myself, Bill Reed. With me, as always, the co-host. He is Mike Devine. He's America's counselor. Until next time, take it easy, folks. Thanks again. Peace.